Hello everyone. Today what we're going to be doing is a unboxing and review of the Atomstak P9 M40 laser engraver. It's got an engraving size of 220 by 250 millimeter. It is a 5-watt laser. Engraving accuracy is 0.01 millimeters. It has USB and SD card connectability. It's fixed focus. Laser wavelength is 455, give or take 5 nanometers. It uses light burn and laser Gerbil. And what we'll do is we'll do the unboxing to show what's included. And then we will do some engraving, some cutting, and see how it works. Alright, and we'll get everything unboxed and we'll show you what's included. Alright, as you can see, I've got the box unpacked. As I mentioned, it was very nicely packed and protected. And let's just go over what's included in the box and we'll get it put together. Alright, first off we have the aluminum sheet to protect your work surface. Have the power supply, power cord. Have the parts, and they're labeled step 2 through 5, which makes it nice when you're putting things together so you know what parts you need. Have some tools, some sample acrylic and wood to engrave and cut. This is the cord that connects the control box to the control panel. We have USB cable, laser, which as I mentioned is a 5-watt, very nicely constructed. We have the instructions. This is a SD card reader, and it has a micro SD card in it with some sample files, instructions, things like that. Have a cloth. And this is the laser engraver right here, the frame for it. As I mentioned, we have the display and the control system, which has the emergency stop on it, which is very nice. Alright, let's get it put together and we'll show you what it looks like. And I forgot to mention, we have these standoffs. Therefore, helping you to assemble it. Also, from what I understand, if you have a tall piece that you're going to engrave, you can use those to raise the engraver up. Alright, we'll be back after we get this put together. Okay everyone, as you can see, I have the engraver put together. I have the piece of wood under it to test one of the files that's on the SD card. And I went ahead and used the plastic spacer to space the laser. And we're going to try an engraving image and see what happens. here we go. Alright, and we'll come back when this is finished. Alright, in this section, we're going to discuss the offline controller. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this engraver does come with one, and some of you may know how it works, what it does, and some of you may not. And you may be curious as to how to take advantage of the offline controller. And what the offline controller does, it allows you to use the engraver without a laptop. So in other words, let's say you need to engrave something and you need to use a laptop as well, but you don't want to risk losing your project in case the laptop crashes or something happens or whatever. So what you can do is you can take your project and load it to an SD card and put the SD card in the engraver, and now you don't need the laptop. And some of you may be familiar with how to do this, and some of you may not. So the question is, how do I get my butterfly here to an SD card? Alright, so what you want to do is come over here to save G code, click on that, and I've already got it named as butterfly, which is fine. So now I'm going to find the SD card that I have installed from the engraver is now in my computer. So I'm going to call it butterfly. Alright, and then we just hit save, and now it saved it to the card. Now if you're using laser Gerbil, you can also do the same thing, going File, Save Advanced Options, and do the same thing, click Save, and it will also save it as a G-code file. Okay, so it'll work with either program. So now what we'll do is we'll go to the engraver, and I'll show you what to do when you get over there. Alright, and here we are at the engraver, and when you turn the machine on, this is what is displayed on the screen. So we hit carve. Now we see the files that are on the SD card. So as you can see, we have the butterfly, so we hit that, and now we have options to frame and position the laser for carving our butterfly. So if we were to hit frame, it will frame out where it's going to engrave. Okay, and of course we have the options to move the laser head, and this is the amount of steps that you can move the laser. Of course, the bigger the number, the larger the step. And you can center and whatnot. Also, as you see, this has a homing button, and if we were to press that, the laser will home. Alright, so that's how that works. And unless you are using it in offline mode, this display, this controller, really doesn't do a whole lot. So, I mean, you can almost leave it unplugged if you're not using it offline. And that would, you know, move it out of your way, of course.